I believe it's 6:03. Ask you to please stand for our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome our guests. And I was going to introduce our student board members, but they are not present tonight. So we will just move on. Mr. Staten, Board of Education Subcommittee reports.
Sure. We haven't had any because it's summertime, other than the policy committee we met on August 5th, and you'll see some of those policies tonight. And then we will be meeting again September 9th for the next board meeting. And as I said, once school resumes again, we'll start on the subcommittee meetings. Stay tuned.
Sounds good. Anything else in that category? No?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to your superintendent's report.
Sure. Well, as you see, the flu clinic is finally scheduled. We've been going back and forth. We knew we were going to host it. We just finally confirmed a date. So board members, you're welcome to attend it. Cell phone parent forum, we held that the other night. Mr. Reed and I joined. Mr. Flight presented, but Mr. Reed and I were there to support him. We had about an equal number of staff and community members there. It was a small but intimate crowd. All the parents were very supportive of the band. I mean, it's nothing new. It's been out, for months, so everyone knew it was coming. We've just disseminated a lot of information on Parent Square, so nothing was new, but it was good to have a small group show up and be very supportive.
Were there any questions of concern that we need to be aware of?
No, but one, Mr. Reed and Mr. Flagg and I were brainstorming about, there will be some cases where students, depending on IEP or medical needs or other factors that may allow them to carry cell phones. And then one of the gentlemen was a firefighter, and he said, what about students that are firefighters and maybe need to be on call? So we talked about they could have the option to get a pager, and that's probably the avenue we'll go. And it's just one option that we hadn't considered about what there might be a need for cell phone. So that was good input. And one of the gentlemen, honestly, his son, he said, we don't let our kids have cell phones. He said, so I thought that my son was going to be singled out, but now I know that everyone won't have them. He was very happy. So that's a very, very supportive.
Mr. Reed, do you expect any difficulties?
I think maybe in the first couple of weeks, there might be some bumps in the road since it's such a change for the high school. But I think it's just like anything. If you're consistent after a week or two, things will fall into line. I think we've got a good plan, and I think that, it'll be small growing pains, but maybe not, but I think there might be, but I think it'll be fine in a short order.
I wasn't there for the meeting, so I apologize if you guys covered this. What do you guys do about the smart watches?
They're not permitted either.
Okay.
So they just let them run along.
There's a lot you can do, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, just wondering.
But you might recall, so back in the fall, actually, Mr. Flagg and I attended one of Ms. Baggin's classes. I forget the name of her classes, but one of the topics the student presented on was the cell phone ban. Some were for it, some were against it, but they all had friends in schools, in nearby schools, that already had the ban in effect last year, and they said the kids were fine once they adjusted. Nobody had the fear of missing out because nobody had their phones, and so they were more engaged.
Was it CBA that someone had reported once they our local school implemented the cell phone ban and said that the lunchrooms were noisy because kids were actually talking to each other?
Yeah, I know CBA, Waterville, and Hartford, they all.
Yeah.
Can I go back? Is the food clinic just for students and staff, or is it for the general?
You guys are welcome.
Yeah,
I don't typically open it up to the general community just because we can't control.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You're a little older, you would want to push off till the end of October, beginning of November before you get yours, just saying.
I really trying to say.
That's just a lifespan of the flu.
I
That
get no.
you might need a
I
second
know.
round.
Healthcare, so yeah, it's early. Yeah, so I
It's
get
very
it. No, I get it. The heaters are out early. Yeah.
All right, summer school report. Mr. Kelly asked this was actually a very good topic. So both buildings, Mr. Madden and the elementary, middle school, Mr. Flagg and the high school stated it starts off a little bumpy just because you've got students from 12 different districts trying to navigate a new building, new schedules, but eventually things smoothed out pretty quickly. And both principals were very pleased to be hosting. They stated that the administration from BOCES that came here actually really enjoyed our setting, the atmosphere here. It limited the students actually walking to and from school because sometimes, students during summer school aren't always want necessarily to stay for the full day. So, but being out here, it limits that distancing early without permission. But overall, as I said, they thought it was going well. Summer school runs on a 4-day cycle every week, so it did allow, obviously having summer school here limits our own teachers from accessing classrooms. But summer school was on a 4-day cycle, so there's always at least one day where our teachers could come in or come in after 1 o'clock. So I guess the biggest challenge is just the maintenance staff now has basically a week and a half to turn over the school to so that's always the challenge for summer school. So they did hire on a couple additional helpers for that time period. But that's the biggest challenge, but otherwise just.
Now, are we gonna be in a tug of war with New Hartford who wants it back and we wanna keep it?
Well, we had the middle school last year, so I think the middle school may be ours if we want it. The high school is typically at Proctor, and I believe they had a capital project this year, so it could likely return there. So
And New Hartford had it for years.
they had the middle school, yeah, preparing.
So do we stand, are we in good standing to retain it?
Potentially, yeah. I mean,
It's
a bit early now,
worth, it's worth that to your eyes that we can actually get.
if we can, it depends on what, we have going on during summer.
I asked this question last week at BOCES and I wanted to be very professional about it. But my concern was, did we see an added enrollment that it was housed here rather than in the inner city? From the outlying districts, did we see more of a participation?
Yeah, I don't
Being
know.
that it was
because I
at
don't-
Hoyt and not having to?
Good question, but I don't know, because I don't really get it, I don't not been involved, but I don't know.
Our administration's not really involved at all.
Right, because we don't facilitate the summer school, so I don't know what their enrollment, I know their enrollment was high, but I don't know if that was higher than typical or not.
I think eventually we should hear something. If you were from Whitesboro, you were from Oriskany, and you had your choice.
You can.
We can read.
It's okay.
We can read between the lines.
Oh, yeah,
We can.
like,
Just expands the paradigm.
If I want to go to Sequoia, what do you?
right. So I think that's an incentive if we. Whatever our status here as a board next year, if you lobby to keep it here, I think you got a good argument. Especially if the enrollment was up. I don't think component school districts would say, no, they don't want to go to school. But anyway, Thank you.
For moving along, back to school events, so we had our freshman orientation last week at the high school. Had very positive feedback from parents and students that attended that. This morning we had new teacher orientation, and currently right now out behind the elementary school is the cupcakes and class bakes back to school. And Ms. Pamelia was there, and you saw we had over 400 parents and students RSVP, so it was a good crowd. It was looking back there, so good turnout, great weather. And then at 6 o'clock, Jerry Campbell will begin his concert. He's playing from 6 to 7. Tomorrow we have 5th grade orientation for those 4th graders that are moving into the middle school for the first time. So that orientation occurs from 9 a.m. till noon, and then tomorrow night is the 5th grade parent night for the parents, just to learn more about the transition. That looks like for the student.
I just have a quick, not really a question, but a comment, but
Sure.
a mixture. So tomorrow, the 5th grade orientation, they're calling the kids going into 8th grade that are on National Junior Honor Society, calling them in to help show the kids around, help them with their lockers. Is that something new?
Maybe,
Yeah, I
I'm
love
sure.
that. So Abby's on National Junior Honor Society, and so she'll go tomorrow. And there was in parents where, was it Mrs. Clark? Was coordinating everything, and most of the kids are able to go, so it looks like there's gonna be a huge amount of 8th graders that are there to kind of help those 5th graders, just feel welcome and get used to the building. I think that's cool. I really like that.
because that's what they do with the freshman orientation. They had seniors here too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Yeah, that'll be nice for him.
At the middle school, those fifth graders, they're really quarantined, yes,
Yeah.
secluded down to one area, so it's really one hallway, but it doesn't hurt to have eighth graders walking around the rest of the building, just showing cafeteria that you know.
That hurt. I remember, yeah, just the locker combination thing was super daunting to the kids when they
Yeah.
were going into fifth grade. Oh my God, what if I can't get a locker open? I'm like, it's gonna be fine. But yeah, just having the bigger kids help you learn how to do that is yeah.
Thank you. And then Shabani Distribution, just want to remind everybody that, Shabani's been a great partner and has been donated so many yogurt products. I mean, yeah, turnout's been good and the feedback from community has been outstanding. So Shabani's ready to bring that partnership into the school and start donating yogurt for breakfast or lunches for students. In addition to what they've already provided for the nest, so we'll stay on that as well. A couple other items, I apologize that I didn't put them on the agenda because they just popped up. But Lightspeed, so Lightspeed is a program that we're going to put on the computers, and I just want to inform you, make sure you guys are all okay with. At BOCES, we had Go Guardian, where teachers could monitor what students were accessing online. And it's really not that we're monitoring them, but it's really a system to essentially protect our children. Because if students start looking up topics like suicidal ideation or weapons in school, then we'll pop an alert. And then this company, their first line of defense is actually a human review team. And they'll look and they'll see, well, does this look like an actual threat? Or maybe it's a kid doing a project. And so they'll make that determination. And then if it, does look like it warrants, a higher level, then it'll get that bumped up to a phone call to administration on campus. So again, big chance that we actually never use this, but it's just something we wanted to put in place again, just to protect students so that if they are something dangerous, they shouldn't be, it just gives us an alert. And so in doing so, if it's after hours, the first phone calls will actually go to Mr. Reed or me. And then if we are unavailable, it will go right to law enforcement. But again, those are only high stakes alerts if kids are looking at something that's an immediate threat. So I just wanted to know that we're looking at doing that. But we're also going to send out a letter to all the parents to let them know this is happening. Because in order to initiate this platform, we have to upload student email addresses so that it'll know what to monitor. And then we'll have to provide law enforcement access to parent contact information. They do, heaven forbid, after have to make contact at home, they'll have to have that information. So that'll be in a parent letter because we want to make sure parents know. And if they don't feel comfortable with that, they can certainly opt out. But again, it's just
Individual parent can opt out.
yeah.
So if it is, say, a threat, let's just say violence, knife, gun, whatever. I get you guys being notified and law enforcement being notified. If it's a health risk, like risk to themselves, hurting themselves and stuff like that, if you guys are notified, are you notifying somebody that has qualifications to contact that family?
That might be us calling the family too. Yeah. And there's going to be training involved because,
Yeah.
right, I don't, if I get the phone call, I don't necessarily know that I want to be trained in making the right decision. But I think a phone call home is certainly one of the first phone calls that we make because more than likely the kid is at home and parents are home. Well, either way, we want parents informed that this is happening, definitely. And then lastly, I sent you some literature on the regionalization effort initiative that's being implemented at the BOCES. And I believe you were there in the fall. Mr. Sacco, were you at that meeting? I don't recall.
Yes, I was.
Okay, regarding regionalization. Again, it's
Sharing things.
yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's just about sharing. And we already do this in some capacities, but the 14 key themes are human capital, basically sharing staff because of the teacher shortage. And so just preparing for the meeting today, I went on OLS today, which that's the platform the schools utilize to advertise position. And I saw 12 math positions regionally, 8 science positions still open, and 15 special ed positions. So there's a teacher shortage out there. So we just need to find ways beyond BOCES itinerant staff to help district share staff. Transportation is another topic that we're looking to share, but as you pointed out during the meeting, we're already doing a lot of the stuff. I mean, this is just kind of formalizing the process, but a lot of schools are already sharing athletic sports, we do that with other schools. We transport students from other schools, some other schools sometimes transport our students, so there's sharing occurring. Sometimes if there's a crisis in another district, we'll send our counselors there, so that, as I said, there are some areas where we're already sharing staff but I just wanted to, give you more literature on this, because very soon BOCES will be asking us just to sign a commitment to say that we're involved with this initiative. It doesn't obligate us to do anything, it just says that we're supporting this initiative. We'll be involved in whatever capacity we find appropriate. Any questions on that? And that is all I have for the superintendent.
Sounds good. We'll move on to any old business, Board of Education members. If not, we'll move on to new business. We'll begin with 7.1, looking for the approval of an appointment of a teacher. 7.2 is looking for your approval of a mentor teacher. 7.3 is looking for our approval of a memorandum of agreement with the Teachers Association. 7.4 is looking for the approval of a reading intervention coordinator. 7.5 is looking for the resignation of a teacher aide. 7.6 is looking for your approval for a substitute teacher aide. 7.7 is looking for your approval of a substitute teacher candidate. 7.8 is looking for the approval of a resignation. 7.9 is looking for your approval of another resignation. 7.10 is looking for your approval of a substitute teacher aide. 7.11 is looking for your approval of a substitute teacher. 7.12 is looking for your approval of the teacher aide appointment. 7.13 is looking for the approval of the teacher aide appointment as well. 7.14 is looking for your approval of an additional athletic appointment for the fall season 2025-26. 7.15 is looking for your approval of a revised reviewed policies. 7.16 is looking for your approval of a district safety plan for the 25-26 school year. 7.17 is looking for your approval of an agreement with the BOCES, which is the Verona BOCES. 7.18 is looking for your approval of an agreement between Ashley McGraw Architects and our district. 7.19 is looking for your approval of the designation of depositories for district funds. 7.20 is looking for your approval of our minutes from August 5th, 2025. 7.21 is looking for your approval of a resolution authorizing payment of bills as approved by our claims auditor. 7.22 is looking for your approval of Committee on Special Education recommendations. 7.23 is looking for your approval of a memorandum of agreement with the Teachers Association. And 7.24 is looking for your approval of additional extracurricular appointments for the 2025-26 school year. Any questions or concerns?
No question, I just wanted.
7.8, what we're gonna have, I'm sorry, you have to remember, so
Yeah.
you don't have much time now, so it's
Right, so we have a substitute nurse.
okay.
She actually applied last school year to be a sub, so she's gonna start the year there. The previous nurse that left, she's going to be coming in for a couple of days, help with the transition, and we got it posted and take the applicants and got some interviews and hopefully that.
So we'll have a nurse on premises.
Yes, at the very least, we have a lot of substitute nurses at the home.
And the
If you
substitute,
match my pay, I'll come.
I can remember after the meeting. I just want to comment very quickly. I want to thank the board for 7.14 for approving the reading intervention coordinator position. We talked about that, and congrats to Stephanie Olivia, who's in that position. She did a lot of work last year as an administrative intern, I'm sorry. And this year we're looking for her to do great things in that role, to connect. We walk to read from the elementary into the middle school, and she and Mr. Putnam and Mr. Reed are working a lot behind the scenes to improve what's going on. But we saw great results. I mean, I shared the results with you, and so it's a very effective program. So very excited with that. It's really good. Thank you for the board for supporting that. also wanted to point out very quickly, 7.15, I'm sorry, 7.16. Mr. Reed presented the district safety plan, so now, you know, we put it out for the public notice and now we've approved it, but now. So now the state ed department has come out and we have to add an annex to it, so they stated that after we approve it, then we need to, add an annex, so Mr. Reed and I have worked on it, it's studied for sudden cardiac arrest, because unfortunately we are seeing an increase in those incidents at this high school level. So we're adding the annex, and then we'll have to quickly present that again, do another 30-day period, and then that. Yeah. And then the last, I just want to thank the board for a second meeting in August, because as you see, there's a lot of staff turnover, so we need this to put that in place for school stuff. So, thank you.
You're good? Okay. Board members need a motion to approve if you have no more questions. CJ, Mrs. Familio, second. Mr. Critelli, any discussion? All in favor? Okay, 7.1 through 7.24 are approved. Miscellaneous topic, Board of Education member?
Would you want to talk about going to West Canada?
Sure.
That was pretty cool. We went, but
Oh, right.
we went to check out West Canada Valley's track and their steeplechase. And we brought both track coaches and they all kind of talked about track. And what steeplechase is and what they did and what the mistakes were and what we should consider. And we were checking out the playground, and it was nice. It was just really nice to kind of go and see what other folks have and to learn from kind of their perspective on things. And you know, it was a good trip. It's a good trip. So it was steeplechase.
Was there someone there from the district?
There was, the AD was there.
Oh, wonderful.
So the athletic director hung out with Coach Nicotera, and Coach Pritchard, and they were talking about a lot of the minutia, and Dave and I were kind of walking around in a circle, talking about the money involved in the minutia. So it was good. Charlie, we're there in spirit. It was a good trip. Thanks for the flexibility.
Oh,
If we get a steeplechase, are we gonna have like an alumni fundraiser steeplechase? Cause Mike wants to have that.
Well, I'm not really alumni, so UFA was just one from the police. That was our steeplechase. But no, we didn't.
You had a lot of yours.
Yeah, we had to just go. Give me a car wash.
no, it's at the Capitol Project.
It's a-
And what's the projected date of our project? Voting,
We're still shooting for mid-December, remember it's like 16th, 18th, somewhere around there. We threw it back to the architects to price some of these added items, steeplechase being one of them. I think there were a couple of others. That they, I hope will have to us in the next week or so, because that was a few weeks ago.
You know, it was interesting to talk about this, the amount of water it takes in the steeplechase. Like, I was joking about going over with buckets if we need to. We're talking like about 500,000 buckets of water. And they had a ladder to fill it, but how much water you lose. It was very interesting to kind of take a look at. They're like, they had a lot of mistakes, so we were talking about how would we run water if we were able to do it through the snack shack and through the bathrooms, and they were like, dude, here's some things you should definitely think about.
How about the ponds often?
Oh, it's gonna be empty.
And one option was to bring in a fire truck and.
Yeah.
From there.
But the thing that's fascinating is if you run a hose into the water, you can't run the hose because kids have to warm up. So it's not like double dutch or doing the limbo with the hose, right? You can't have the hose. And then by the time you do steeplechase, usually it's later, you've lost a lot of water. So it was interesting to just, it's more than just let's dig a hole and hop over it. It's a lot more to it. So I thought it was definitely a great opportunity to kind of look into it.
thank you for your time and going, Mike.
It's a drive, Jay and the coach did a good time.
His idea to look.
Yeah.
Good to learn from their other.
Any other-
I won't say mistakes,
Miscellaneous
but
topics?
oversights.
Well, I just want to remind you on. And I'll send you an email before that, but there's going to be a soccer tournament first week of school, Friday and Saturday, so I think we decided that. the board members know that Belleville will help do coin toss for the championship game. I think that's 5 o'clock on Friday. I'm sorry, Saturday, September 6th, but I'll send an email as it is.
Public to be heard?
I just like to say thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm very excited about the coming year and how much growth we'll have in working with Mr. Reed and Mr. Putnam and Mr. Madden this year. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Mrs. Miller, did you hear about all the vacancies that Mr. Staten talked about?
I did. I would be happy to fill one.
I advocate to all candidates, even though you're working on your certification, if you see something of interest, apply. Don't get discouraged, apply. In that interview, you can always tell them, I'm lacking 3 courses, I'm lacking, but I'm gonna be enrolled in it. And you'd be surprised at the interest you may receive from the district.
Yeah.
We're good? We're good. Need a motion to adjourn, go to executive session, Mr. Staley? No? Need a motion to adjourn, Mrs. Collins? Second, Mr. Seckel, all in favor? We stand adjourned, I believe, at 6:30.